what happened to Khabib?
Well, I wasn't there.
But you're one of the coaches at the American Kickboxing Academy, so you're partly responsible.
Oh, now it's on me. I'm gonna open with this, including you. Over the last 20 years, the guys that I've been directly involved with, that I travel with and do the whole shebang, I've never had anybody miss weight. Well, with Khabib, he'd been coming down in weight, and a lot of people think, well, he's not. He shows up fight week, he's not that far off. It's within striking distance. But what a lot of people don't realize, in my view, is it's not the weight that you're just cutting fight week. It's the weight that you've been cutting the last 6 weeks, 2 months leading up to that.
Yeah.
That it all adds up, and that can compound and become the real problem. There's a big difference between cutting 10 pounds fight week and you've cut 20 pounds or 30 pounds the 2 months prior to that, or a guy that's just cutting 10 pounds fight week.
Yeah.
Those are two completely different equations.
So we get to the fights, and obviously Khabib Ferguson fell off last minute, which was one of the, probably the most anticipated fight in the fight card.
Yeah. Quick question. So I read that Ferguson said to Khabib at the press whatever they did the day before the start.
Yeah, press conference.
They said, "Enjoy that weight cut, buddy." So does he think he just looked at him and knew?
You could tell when you look in the face, right?
Yeah, there's a couple telltale signs. One, either a guy looks big, or he looks real sucked up, and his eyes look sunken in, and his cheeks are sucked up, and they look like they just got out of the mortuary and they're going after the viewing, ready to go 6 feet under.
Jones said that to me too at UFC 200. He goes, you look at him. He goes, his eyes are sunk in. He goes, I feel great. He goes, he's already started to cut his weight. So you can tell in a guy's face. But that's one thing, especially in my shoes, is that every time I cut weight, I look like that. It doesn't change. So you could tell.
You have many different looks. You have out of season,
fat
TV look.
Yeah, TV
nice round and
nice
happy.
And round.
Nice and round.
You have training camp,
where it starts to thin down a little bit,
and then you have
pre
scale check.
Death. That's just death. But to the fights though, Alistair Overeem last night delivered a devastating knockout of Mark Hunt. Mark walked out of the octagon afterwards, seemed pretty upset. Overeem has these performances where at times he looks great, at times he doesn't. But last night it seemed like everything went according to plan.
I don't know. I think Mark was definitely in the fight.
Yeah.
Overeem they both had some moments. He obviously got him with a great knee, and I don't care who you are, you get hit with a knee like that from a powerful guy like that, it's lights out. But I thought Mark there for a minute had a pretty nice flurry going where it was questionable. He might have got
into the first.
Yeah, he might have just about was there, and slipped away from him.
And the rest of the fight card, Lando Venata had a good fight against David Tamer in the co-main event.
What was our I can't remember. It's been a week. What was who did we pick last week?
It was that one fight. It was the one fight that came down to it. And
who did I have? I can't remember.
You had David Tamer, and you actually won. So it's like I didn't want to really say it because I knew you would actually stick it to me there. But
I think we should just retire this whole contest after one event. We don't need to do it again.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are fights next week. In the main event, we're gonna just skip to the main event. Woodley versus Thompson. Uneventful at best, Bob, is how I would describe that fight.
Well, is that a question or a statement? Or
that's a statement by me, and you just kind of you tell me about the fight.
In the first few rounds, maybe that was Woodley's strategy, was to just kind of let him slow down a little bit, where where he wasn't quite as quick on his feet. I don't know, but he sure got it going in the fifth.
But that's the question, though. If you have that ability, why as Tyron Woodley, a guy that I root for, and when it was going, I was like, hopefully he won 1, 3, 5, because I knew 3 was his because of the takedown, 5 was his because he fought well. I was hoping 1 would go to him because it was so close, and nothing really happened. He actually got the decision. Why not just go after the kid?
For sure, 5 was a 10-8.
No way. No, I absolutely disagree.
How?
Because just because you get knocked down, it's not a 10-8, Bob.
You don't get much closer to a finish
Bob.
than what that was. Mark Arthur was like, do I do it?
I
Stop
get it,
it,
Bob.
do I not?
I get it, Bob, but that was a 15,
when
20-second flurry.
It doesn't matter. When the
Bob.
ref is going to stop, when the ref is like questioning whether to stop the fight or not, there's a 10-8.
Bob
If
Bennett,
that is not, what is
Bob,
the 10-8?
when it is a sustained dominance by one party over the next. That is the rule, Bob. You cannot say because unless we're scoring fights like boxing now. Whereas in boxing, the moment you fall, it's 10-8.
You get clean knocked
Bob.
down and almost finished
Bob
with the referee ready to stop it. That's a 10-8.
This is the first time
so-
where I've looked in your eyes and go, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
So if the guy goes out there and dominates the whole round
That's 10-8.
from beginning to end with a jab, but the guy's
But
in no
I'm
danger
talking
because
about-
it's a jab.
I am talking about
but it's a
sustain-
complete dominance because he lands 100 punches with a jab.
Bob,
is that a 10-8?
Bob, I am talking about sustained dominance, Bob, where one guy looks
Well,
like
he's got a great jab.
that is 15 seconds, 20 seconds it was only 20 to 30 seconds at most.
Okay,
That
we'll agree to disagree.
By the way,
No.
context, Bob has been looking at me and Dennis and giving us clear looks like, yeah, obviously I'm right. Clearly I won
yeah,
this
but that's
argument.
because that is how he thinks. But Bob Bennett, the commission, the Nevada State Athletic Commission went up and said himself, I disagree with one of my judges. They don't do that. And said that was not a 10-8 round. It can't be. But
maybe Bob Bennett's wrong.
even without 10-8, even without the 10-8 round, Tyron still won the fight. But to score that 10-8 based on that explosion, I don't believe it's right, Bob. And I am the analyst. I'm the guy that works for Fox Sports. And this is my show, Nick. So we're going to go with I get the...
You
I
can't
get,
be wrong.
So I am right, Dennis. Dennis, would you care to...
Dennis just threw his mic on the ground and walked out when DC said it was his show. So
Dennis?
we'll get him back in here. Dennis, come on, stay.
Come on,
Just
Dennis.
stay for a
please.
little
Okay,
bit. Come
it's
on.
our show, Dennis. I'm sorry, our
Yeah,
show. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, who won this argument?
It's a tough one.
You don't know Bob from... You don't know Bob. You don't know Bob.
You're making eye contact, trying to intimidate him right now.
I don't intimidate. That's
I
one
need
thing
to
I
turn
don't
around
do.
and look.
That's one thing I don't do.
DC did call you a nerd a little while ago.
I mean, that's without watching the fight, I don't know. I just
As a fan, what do you think is a more dominant round? Like clearly outclassing him without really hurting him, or a moment where you've this close to having him done? Which one would you give more credence to? I don't even know if that's the right word, but
almost done. Like
Almost
if,
done.
If the,
See,
if
I
the ref's
get-
about to stop,
So-
Voice
I
of
would
God
probably say
came
so
in.
Bob would win.
So
the
it's like,
argument.
but it's like it's just so fast. Like it's just Nick. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
the
it's,
guy,
it's subjective to how do you know if
It's
he's
subjective.
almost
But
finished or
here
not
was
almost
the one
finished?
thing. I would agree with you if Steven was, if he was kind of pretty clearly dominating the rest of the round, and
they
then,
were all super close.
but it wasn't. It was like almost neutral, and then Tyron
Did that
almost finishes
The
him.
two most dominant rounds belong to Tyron.
Yes.
3 with the takedown and the control, and 5 with the knockdown
Yes,
for sure. But
but the
Very
takedown
close fight.
and control wasn't. Yes, he won that round, but it wasn't like he was killing him like he was in the fifth.
One more question before we go too far on this. So you're watching afterwards, right? And so what I want to know, like, what is the guy thinking? Like, what is Woodley thinking afterwards? Where he's won this fight, he's defended his title, wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but he's probably relieved, happy, and then he's booed, and every question afterwards is like, "Are you hurt? What's wrong with you? Why'd you fight that way?" Like, do you not even? Are you just like, "I don't even care. I got my money. I won this fight. On to the next one," or is your ego just burning.
Well, I mean, some of it is you just fought for 30 minutes. You're so friggin' tired. You just want to go relax somewhere. But yeah, it's so easy to be a quarterback from the stands or television when you have no idea how hard it is to touch a guy like Stephen Thompson. It's not like he's just a willing opponent that's going to let you do what you want him to do.
Yeah.
This guy is what is he? 58-0 or something?
Yeah, kickboxing.
Something ridiculous. And he's got a style where it's like you're lucky to even touch him.
Yeah.
And he flirts that line. He understands where he can engage and just staying outside of where you can.